I have less than an hour to talk about this lens, so let's not waste either of each other's time. This is the Tamron 28-75 f2.8 DI Mark III VXD G2. This is the version 2 of this lens, and I was recommended this because it's much sharper than the version 1. Now, I've never really tried the version 1, but I do say this lens is very sharp. So if you're looking for a sharp lens, I took this to Spain with the Sony FX3 to shoot content for some DJs, and the image looks really good, very sharp, very crispy from 28 all the way to 75. You will not have sharpness problems with this lens. Next thing you need to keep in mind is autofocus. Now, the autofocus of this works perfectly well. I had no problems even in really low light. I was shooting really late at a nightclub, and the autofocus just locked on perfectly on the eye and stayed there consistently. It's really amazing what these third-party lenses are able to do in the Sony system. I've recently come from the Canon system, and as of right now, you can pretty much only use the native lenses. The fact that Sony has so many affordable options with amazing autofocus is just remarkable, and is one of the main reasons I switched over to Sony. Quick little fun fact, on this shoot in Spain, I met the executives at Sony Camera Europe, so that was kind of cool. They were happy I was shooting with the Sony FX3, but they weren't that happy that I was using a Tamron lens. Next thing, let's talk about the build, size, and weight. Now, the lens feels good. It's a good weight. It has a 67mm filter thread, which I found quite small, but at this point, I adapt all of them to 82 anyways because my ND filters, as well as my ProMIS filters, are all 82mm. The focus ring feels really nice. It is smooth. I do prefer the ones from Sigma that have a bit more resistance. Like this one feels quite loose, but I found it quite easy zooming in and out, and it is very smooth. Same thing goes with the focus ring. It actually feels better than the actual zoom ring. It is very smooth and has a good amount of resistance. This lens is not stabilized, so I used active stabilization, and that did crop in a little bit, which I didn't really like, but shooting handheld with it yielded pretty good results. I've heard that Sony lenses are better stabilized than third-party lenses with the standard stabilization, so that is something I would like to explore, but that said, it still worked pretty well without any stabilization. I think the balance, the weight of it with the FX3 just felt really good in hand, whether I was shooting vertical or horizontal, so never really had any problems there. Obviously, it has a constant f2.8 aperture, so you don't lose light as you zoom in or out. Very convenient at this point at a professional level. I think everyone should have lenses like this. I never really get variable aperture lenses just because on a shoot, I don't want to be adjusting exposure as I zoom in and out. So it's good that this lens at this price point has it. It does also have a custom button you can program to whatever you want. I have it programmed to focus lock. So if I'm autofocusing and then I want it to stay in one spot, I just press and hold this down. And as I keep the button pressed, it'll lock focus wherever it was grabbing focus in the first place. So all in all, I would say it's a great lens, but why do I not like it? Two main things, let's talk about it. 28mm is just a little bit too tight. I'm used to the 24 to 70mm focal range, and it's something I've used for almost all my work the past few years. I thought that 28 would not be that different than 24, but it actually is quite a bit different, and I found many shots were just a little bit too tight, and I feel like this lens was a little bit more of a telephoto lens, more so than an all-purpose lens because of those 4mm you're missing on the wider end. At the 75, I don't think I really noticed a difference between 70 and 75mm, so not a big deal right there, but at the 28mm range, it just wasn't wide enough in particular circumstances, and that bothered me a lot. I found myself having to switch to my 16 to 28mm. I didn't like the fact that I had to switch the lens for a general shoot. I want to use my ultra wide lens for ultra wide shots, and then my all-purpose lens, the 24 to 70 or 28 to 75 in this case, for everything else. So for me, those extra 4mm are a deal breaker, and if you find yourself using that range a lot, that wider end of the 24 to 70, you may want to consider that before you pick up such a lens. Now, the other thing I don't like about it, and I kind of got used to it towards the end, but still just feels weird. Why is the zoom ring the one at the front, you know, this part of the lens, and this is the focus? Even the Sigma right here that I'm shooting on right now, it has it the other way. Canon lenses I've used the other way, Sony the other way. I think Nikon has them like, I don't know. Not even all Tamron lenses are built this way, and it's just very weird to reach that way. Not to mention I have to turn it the other way. I'm used to spinning it the other way, but that's not even as big of a deal. The fact that it's up here just doesn't feel right when I'm shooting. I like to be able to zoom from down here, and this is focus, which I almost never use. And the fact that it's out in the front, I don't know, I'm just not used to it. So those two things are my deal breakers. All in all though, if that is not a problem for you, if those things are not a problem for you, I highly recommend this lens. Definitely if you're looking for that all-purpose lens in that range. For the price, this is great. I do think I will be going for the Sigma 24-70 f2.8 version 1 or version 2. I think the version 1 will be perfectly fine for what I do, but I just need that extra 4mm, and I know that will add quite a bit of weight because this is a very small and compact lens, but I need that versatility. I need that wide angle because I could even, vlog on it. I can do so much more with those extra 4mm, and the 5mm I'm gaining at the telephoto end didn't really help that much. So hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. It was really quick. I'm gonna be sending this back to Amazon right now. I have a flight to the US very soon. I just came this morning. I woke up in London. I'm in Italy right now, and I'm going to the US in a few hours. So very busy times. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're interested in this lens, I will link it down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.